I have a question for you all. How many of y'all ever seen the movie RoboCop? You ever seen RoboCop? In RoboCop, they had a police station. When I was a kid, this police station that was in the movie was very bad looking. So I assumed that every police station in the country looked just like the one in RoboCop. Well, on July 5th, 2016, this past week, I found out that RoboCop was just a movie. The police station was a bad act, and bad acts do not represent all of society. So let me tell you why I found that out. There's a saying that if you have a voice, a small voice, if you keep talking long enough, then the big voices will start hearing you, and then people will pay attention to you. So I was invited to City Hall to go to the police station. Now, I walk inside the police station and I automatically realize how beautiful it is. It's color coded. They have new computers. I mean, it's one of the nicest buildings I ever been into. But I was going in there to meet a particular individual, and that was Chief David Brown. So Mr. Brown and I sat down across from each other, and the thing that I really loved about him the most is he was from the hood just like me, and he wound up becoming the police chief. That is something that I've never heard of in my life. And I said to Mr. Brown, I said, Mr. Brown, how in the world did you go from the gutter of the hood to being a police chief? He said, oh man, man, I've been thinking about that all the time, We talked about some great things. And then he told me something that I did not know. 600 guys get out the jail system a month. That was shocking to me. I had no idea that was going on. But then he said this. He said, Gene, you know what, man? I want to help these guys. They get out with no skills. They coming back. They going in. They coming out. I really want to help these guys. And then we start discussing about the sensitivity between the communities and the police department and all the problems that they were having. And then 2 days later, a guy shoots up Dallas. Now, at the beginning, I was talking about bad acts. The police department that I saw in RoboCop was a bad act. It was not a true representation of society. As I was speaking to Chief David Brown, I realized that the bad acts of police officers shooting people, the bad acts of bad officers do not represent every police officer that's walking the street. You see, there's a lot of beautiful police officers out there, just like there are a lot of beautiful police stations. But you have to really take the time to get away from the television to realize it does not represent society. And it goes back to black male. See, I'm an African-American male. I take a lot of pride in that, a whole lot of pride in that. And an African-American male that shot up Dallas pulled a bad act. Now, does that bad act represent everybody, every black man in society? Of course it doesn't. It represents the act of that individual. And I think in society now, everybody is looking at the television and they're in their minds making these assumptions that everybody's a certain way. People get mad at police officers. This guy shooting people in Dallas, this stuff happened in Minnesota and Louisiana. It had nothing to do with Dallas police officers. But when you look at the television and you take the television as reality, and you don't have it in your mind, and you don't realize that TV does not represent all of society, that the bad acts of somebody in another state does not represent those in the state in which you live, then you make assumptions and you do things that don't only hurt yourself and others, but it also hurt people that look just like you. So I think today we do have a lot of issues going on. We do have some police brutality, but that police brutality is not representing every police officer in the country. And see, Chief David Brown was a very good representation of that, because this is a guy who's the head of a police department talking about helping the guys in which they arrest. But you don't hear that in the media. Only thing you hear in the media is black guy got shot. White people don't like black people. Racism, anger, hatred. And it gets bigger and bigger and bigger because people are taking the television as reality. So I want to encourage you, my fellow Toastmasters, think about that for a second. If you've never seen the movie RoboCop, check out the movie and look at the police station. If you get a chance and you're willing to, go down to Dallas City Hall and check out this bad police station that you all are paying for. I am telling you, it's one of the nicest facilities you ever go into. but also take the time out to actually talk to the police officers, and you will find out that most of them do care about the people in society. Most of them do want to see us move forward and have strong communities in which we can help each other and we can listen to each other and we can communicate. But if we listen to the media and we focus on TV and we let that represent society, then we will keep hating each other. We will keep having shootings. We might have another guy who might decide to go shoot up police officers because in his mind he has not figured out that the TV does not represent all of society. So I ask you, my fellow Toastmasters, turn off the TV. Go and actually meet somebody in society and see them for what they are. And I promise you, whether it's an African American, a police officer, a white person, an Asian person, whoever it is, you will find out they are beautiful. Just like I found out that the real police stations in America are beautiful.